Hi, my name is Ted with Legacy Brand Leather. This week I'm crafting a leather donut pincushion. This project came out of necessity. I moved late last year and misplaced a couple things in my shop. One of them being a caddy where I kept all my sewing needles. I wanted to make a pincushion and there are tons of examples online and other crafters who have made them. And also I didn't want to do something you would expect from a leather pincushion. But this idea just hit me and I was like, yes! I love crafted items that look like food and that have a whimsical realism. Anyways, let's get to it. First, you're going to start off by cutting your leather. I'm using some Russet Harness leather for the main dough section of this donut. Then just trace out your template. Make sure you do both the top and the bottom. Not to forget the interior of the donut. And here I'm using a medium brown harness leather for the chocolate icing on the top of the donut. And now we're going to begin cutting it. I'm using a brass knife. You could use a utility knife or even scissors if you need to. Make sure you also cut the interior of the donut. And also don't forget to cut the bottom of the donut. It's a little tricky doing the icing since I made this template in Illustrator. Just kind of made some curves on it so it looked a little bit like a chocolate icing. Here's what it's going to look like. And since I wanted the icing to look a little shiny, I'm going to be beveling the top and bottom of the icing and then using a Dremel tool to burnish the edges of the chocolate icing on top. And also don't forget to burnish the top inside of the icing as well. And there I'm going to be adding a stitch line to the inside and outside of the icing and the donut. And now it's just a matter of gluing it up. I'm using some Ecru weld. Here I'm just going to glue it to the top of the leather. Then I'm going to be weighing it down so it adheres to the top of the leather. And there it's just a matter of adding these stitching holes, starting with the interior and then going to the exterior of the piece. And also do the exterior of the icing. And then stitching it up with some Vinymo MBT No. 5 brown thread for the chocolate icing section of this piece. Also don't forget to stitch the exterior of the icing. And there's what that looks like. Here I'm adding the holes that are going to be holding the needles. First I'm marking them, then I'm going to be hammering it out. It was at this moment where I was like, what am I doing with my life? This is stupid, but I gotta finish. Anyways, once you get over that existential life crisis there, you're going to be gluing the interior of the donut piece together. I'm starting with the interior and then moving to the exterior, using a bone folder to make sure that the glue adheres, adding the stitching holes and then stitching it up. I decided that some Ecru colored Maine Thread Company lightweight Polycord would work best for this project. Here I am stitching up the interior of the donut. And then I'm using a bone folder to kind of relax some of the leather so that we can put some batting in there to stuff this donut. Then I'm adding the stitching holes for the exterior of this donut. Then I'm going to be stitching it up, leaving about a third of the donut exposed so I can then stuff it with the batting. This looked like a good stopping point, and here we go. I first started out with taking a big chunk of batting, trying to fit it into the small donut, and I realized that it wouldn't work. So then I moved on to some smaller pieces about the size of a pea or a little bit larger, stuffing it in there by hand, then using a tool to force it in there a little bit more. Then it was just a little bit of patience, adding a little bit at a time, using the tool to stuff it in there, then a little bit more, stuff it in there. Then over some time I would stitch up a couple holes, add a little bit more, stitch up a couple holes, add a little bit more. And there I am stitching up the last few holes of the donut. Once that's done to your liking, it's time to sand off the edges, bevel, and then burnish. Making sure you don't forget the interior of the donut as well. I'm just using a 0 level edge beveler. Then I'm going up a bit in grit just to get a nice finer looking edge. Here I'm adding that tokenol, and then I'm going to be burnishing with the cocobolo wood burnisher attachment on my Dremel tool. Then after that, some more tokenol and some canvas. Not to forget the interior. And that's pretty much it. But let's check out some B-roll. Thank you so much for watching this video. There was a moment near the end of this project where I felt like it was going to be a failure and it wasn't going to look right. And although it's not a puffy donut boy, I am glad with how it turned out, and I kind of like it even more. Tell me what you think, either good or bad. I want to hear from you. I am on Instagram at Legacy Brand Leather. Go ahead and give me a follow so you can get your leather fix. Also, I just wanted to say thank you so much for your time and following me on this journey through this leather craft, where I sometimes make random things and sometimes make useful things. So thank you. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button and please consider subscribing. That shows me that you want to see more videos and more content like this. I will see you next week with a new video. Stay safe out there.